Hi, everybody. Mindy here. So, I am taking this opportunity to introduce one thing that I've been working on that I'm really excited to be sharing with you. This is the first time that I'm doing a program like this, and I get to premiere it at Tula Yoga coming up this February. So, one of the things that was really important to me in terms of as a practitioner and as a teacher is understanding how we are using this knowledge to break through pain. And one of my most pertinent experiences to this was when I had my ACL reconstructed and I had my surgery done in Korea, and it was really a battle. The doctor wanted me to rest, and I was very adamant about getting back into rehab because I had spent so much time rehabbing my back that I didn't. I mean, I could have let go of my leg, and I just really wanted to make sure that I wasn't having ongoing issues with that. So um, I had to rely on basically doing my own physical therapy. So I used yoga because this is what I'm familiar with. And I was just noticing that whereas a lot of the rehab stories I was hearing about, a lot of people gained weight, a lot of people weren't really back to where they felt they were before they had gone through any sort of therapeutic process. I was having a very different experience. And of course, this is anecdotal, and everybody is going to have their own personal trajectory with this. But for me, it really having that kind of fear in the back of my mind that I wanted to take care of my back and knowing that I wasn't where I was prior to the surgery, it really motivated me to develop a daily practice and a really good daily habit of making sure I was going through and doing at least an hour of yoga, as modified as it was, that I was doing that on a regular basis every single day. And I was not only back up to speed and doing the things that I wanted to be doing, both as a yoga practitioner and as a teacher. That was all kind of up to speed within about 6 weeks. And ever since then, I feel like I've been better than ever. It was something where I didn't feel like I was at a diminished capacity, but through that dedicated practice and through the process of having to figure out how to work, first of all, with a cast. Um, in Korea, they kept me in a cast for, I want to say, for the better part of a week, maybe upwards into 2 weeks. And so I was completely immobilized on my left side. Um, so I was learning how to work around a cast. And then after working around a cast, I was working around a knee that wouldn't bend. And what that really reinforces this idea that yoga truly is for everybody. Yoga is a means for living better, and it's a way for us to understand not only our physical bodies, but then how we are moving throughout our days, and we're taking care of ourselves. So with that, I want to be able to share this knowledge and information with you, and then in turn have you be able to share this with your own students. So what I've done, as opposed to doing a full 200-hour yoga teacher training program, which I've been doing for the past couple of years at my studio in Korea, what I want to do is have more of a specialized focus. So what I've done is just take this one specific part of the body, looking at the knee and the hip, because usually when there's any sort of discomfort or a breakdown, these things are usually very, very much interconnected. And from there, um, look at only one sequence. So what is it that we're experiencing when we're starting to have a breakdown with the knee and with the hip, and then how are we addressing that? And so rather than um, being in a space of having to um, it's really nice to have the opportunity to be creative and to think about different things, but when we're trying to make very fundamental movements accessible, when we're dealing with a lot of pain, and coupled with that pain, we're dealing with a lot of fear, it's really important that we have a clear objective, that people are aware of what's happening going into it. And so this is why we're sticking with one sequence, and it gives you an opportunity to really understand um, in all dimensions why we do certain things the way that we do, how do we progress those movements, and then how do we regress for different limitations? So what we're going to do here is take a 40-hour module. 10 hours is going to be dedicated to you as a practitioner in the class. And so when you're going through this experience with somebody who, may have limited capacity, maybe not, you are not only consciously understanding what they're going through, but you're actually feeling it, having this somatic empathy occur within your experience. So that was really important for me, is that everybody's operating on the same page. From there, you will have an opportunity to observe not only the ways in which I teach, but that's going to be coupled with understanding my specific approach to teaching. And it's an approach that is often referred to as trauma-informed teaching. So we're not only dealing with trauma in the body, but we're dealing with the traumatic experience of having some sort of limitation or some sort of drawback. So we're going to learn about what is trauma, what does it mean to be a trauma-informed teacher, how are we putting that into action in creating a safe place for our students. And so we're not only learning about that as its own individual module, but then you're going to see that in action, hopefully watching me interact with the students, being a facilitator in the class, and then also have an opportunity to put those techniques to work for yourself when you're doing your own demo teaching. Beyond that, the two parts that I'm really excited about with this program, number one is working with a licensed physical therapist. So she's a friend of mine that has collaborated with me on my teacher trainings in Korea. She has written and led the anatomy and physiology sections for that. And so she's going to be able to be our expert resource when we're talking about the hip and the knee. So she has professional experience in this, and she also comes from a little bit different modality, coming from the Western medicine. And so we'll be able to have that opportunity to get her experience and expertise as it applies to this, and also just in our general practice, and then also questions that we may have as teachers. And in addition to that, we're going to look at feedback, because this is something that is going to be happening on a lot of different levels and in many different ways. Not only for you as a teacher giving feedback to your students, we're going to look at oral cues. How are we cueing in a way that elicits the response that we're seeking? Number two, how are we utilizing hands-on adjustments? And we will have a section that's geared towards understanding and applying that knowledge. So the theory of hands-on adjustments: when is it appropriate, when is it inappropriate, what is the objective that we're after with hands-on adjustments, and also then how do we actually do it. So the feedback module is going to be led by my best friend, a woman that I have so much respect for, and is just really committed to this practice in her own field of teaching as a middle school language arts teacher, my friend Missy Springsteen Hop. And she had feedback be the central focus of her graduate work. And so working with her, I noticed that even though we are using this information in two separate settings, she's in a traditional classroom, I'm in a studio primarily, a lot of the foundational information is the same. So we're taking the common denominator of teaching. How are we giving and receiving information and doing that in the most effective way? So she will be here as a guest lecturer as part of this series, leading that module, just specifically focused on feedback. Number one as a teacher, and then number two as a learner, with you as a participant in this program. And let's see, what else can I say about this? I mentioned about the observation and then the demo teaching. So my hope is that even though it's a shorter, condensed time, you're going to have a lot of opportunity to have a very three-dimensional experience and feel very comfortable with this information and be able to use it in a meaningful way. So this program is starting the 19th of February. Let me double check that. And it will run for 4 weeks. So I really welcome any questions that you may have. All of this information is going to be available on my website, kaizenkorea.com, under the workshop section. And the pricing is all listed, and the breakdown of the schedule and the different modules, what we're going to focus on, and the different objectives. So this is something that I've been really passionate about since having my surgery about, let's see, 4 years ago. So this has very much been a work in progress, and I feel really excited to finally be having the opportunity to have this culmination of work and to be sharing it with you. So I look forward to you joining me. Please go there, check out that information. There's a way to register through the website directly, and also you're able to register through Tula's website, tulayoga.com, and I'll have links to that where I post this video. So take care of yourselves, guys, and I look forward to seeing you soon.